wake up.
Have you ever felt like you were walking on eggshells around someone? Like every word you say or action you take could set off an explosion of anger or manipulation? You might have encountered a narcissist. But what exactly do narcissists despise the most? Let's dive in and explore the 8 aspects that narcissists simply cannot stand. For a narcissist, being ignored is akin to a personal affront, a direct assault on their inflated sense of self-worth. They thrive on constant admiration and validation, craving the spotlight like a moth to a flame. When they find themselves relegated to the sidelines, it triggers a cascade of negative emotions, ranging from frustration to outright rage. But why does being ignored evoke such a strong reaction in narcissists? At the heart of it lies their insatiable need for external validation. From an early age, narcissists learn to derive their sense of self-worth from the approval of others. Whether it's through accolades, compliments, or attention, they rely on external sources to affirm their grandiose self-image. When faced with being ignored, narcissists interpret it as a rejection of their very existence. It shatters the illusion of their omnipotence, exposing them to the uncomfortable truth of their own insignificance. In their mind, if they are not the center of attention, they cease to exist. Narcissists perceive themselves as flawless beings beyond reproach, immune to the flaws and imperfections that plague ordinary mortals. Any suggestion of criticism threatens their carefully crafted facade of perfection, shattering the illusion of their invincibility. When confronted with criticism, narcissists react with a potent cocktail of defensiveness, anger, and resentment. They will go to great lengths to deflect blame onto others, refusing to acknowledge any responsibility for their actions. Moreover, criticism strikes at the core of a narcissist's sense of superiority. They believe themselves to be superior beings, deserving of adulation and praise from others. When their perceived superiority is called into question, it triggers feelings of inadequacy and insecurity, prompting them to lash out in retaliation. In relationships, criticism can be a particularly potent trigger for narcissists. They may view any form of constructive feedback as a threat to their dominance and control, interpreting it as a challenge to their authority. As a result, they may respond with manipulation tactics or emotional abuse in an effort to regain the upper hand. Imagine living in a house without doors or windows, where anyone can enter at any time, rummage through your belongings, and dictate how you should live your life. This lack of boundaries would undoubtedly leave you feeling vulnerable, exposed, and robbed of your autonomy. For narcissists, boundaries are viewed as obstacles to be overcome, barriers to their insatiable need for control and validation. Boundaries serve as the invisible lines that delineate where you end and others begin. In personal relationships, narcissists often disregard boundaries with impunity. They have a sense of entitlement that knows no bounds, believing that they are entitled to invade your personal space, manipulate your emotions, and control every aspect of your life. Whether it's incessant demands for attention, invasion of privacy, or disregard for your autonomy, narcissists have a knack for trampling over boundaries without a second thought. Narcissists thrive on a sense of impunity, believing themselves to be above reproach and immune to the rules that govern ordinary individuals. Accountability is their kryptonite, threatening to shatter the illusion of their infallibility and expose the cracks in their carefully crafted facade of perfection. At its core, accountability is about taking responsibility for one's actions, acknowledging mistakes, and making amends when necessary. However, for narcissists, accountability is viewed as a sign of weakness, a chink in their armor of invincibility that must be fiercely defended against. When confronted with accountability, narcissists react with a potent cocktail of defensiveness, denial, and blame shifting. They refuse to accept responsibility for their actions, instead deflecting blame onto others. Control is the lifeblood of narcissism. It fuels their insatiable need for power, dominance, and admiration. Every aspect of a narcissist's life is meticulously orchestrated to maintain control. Any threat to this control is met with fierce resistance and hostility, as narcissists strive to maintain their grip on the reins of power. Narcissists will go to great lengths to regain control, resorting to manipulation, coercion, and intimidation to assert their dominance. They may employ gaslighting tactics to distort reality and undermine your confidence, making you question your own judgment and sanity. They may use guilt-tripping or emotional blackmail to manipulate your emotions and coerce you into compliance. When faced with rejection, narcissists are forced to confront the harsh reality of their own inadequacies and shortcomings, a reality they are ill-equipped to handle. When confronted with rejection, narcissists feel betrayed and abandoned, like a king dethroned and cast into exile. This rejection strikes at the very core of their identity, challenging their deeply ingrained belief in their own superiority and entitlement. In relationships, rejection can be particularly devastating. They view their partners as mere extensions of themselves, objects to be manipulated and controlled for their own gratification. Any sign of rejection is perceived as a direct assault on their ego and self-worth. Being outshone is a nightmare scenario for narcissists. They have an insatiable need to be the center of attention, the star of the show, and the best at everything they do. Anything that threatens their sense of superiority and self-importance is met with resentment and hostility. When confronted with someone who outshines them, whether it's in terms of talent, intelligence, or charisma, narcissists react with envy and insecurity. They cannot tolerate the idea of being surpassed by others. They may engage in covert forms of sabotage, such as spreading rumors or gossip to tarnish the reputation of their perceived rival. They may also resort to passive-aggressive tactics, such as giving backhanded compliments or withholding praise to diminish the accomplishments of others and bolster their own ego. Being exposed strikes at the very core of a narcissist's identity. It shatters the carefully constructed illusion of perfection and invincibility that they have spent a lifetime cultivating. For narcissists, maintaining this facade is not just a matter of vanity, it's a matter of survival. They rely on it to manipulate and control those around them, to garner admiration and praise. When confronted with exposure, narcissists react with panic and desperation. This vulnerability triggers a primal fear of rejection and abandonment as they struggle to cope with the loss of control over their carefully constructed narrative. Now, have you ever encountered narcissists in your personal or professional life? What are the patterns you have identified in their reactions? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Hit subscribe, join our community, and together, let's illuminate the world with the brilliance of understanding. Until next time, embrace the power of your boundaries as guardians of your self-worth.